All right, we have to talk about this concept of pseudo-recovery. Hello, my name is Stephanie. I'm a therapist on Long Island, New York that specializes in the treatment of eating disorders and body image issues. If you're interested in learning more about that or general mental health and well-being, please click the subscribe button down below. Ever hear of the concept of pseudo-recovery? You likely haven't because no one's really is talking about it. But this whole notion of pseudo-recovery is the false belief that you're really in recovery from your eating disorder when in reality your eating disorder kind of just transferred into another eating disorder or form of controlling your eating. Usually the way that you'll see this is almost like an orthorexia type of ordeal, and I'll leave a link in the description below for a video I did all about orthorexia. But really what I'm saying in this video is this concept that when a person recovers from their eating disorder, then they start to transition into being super healthy in their behaviors. So what I'm saying with that, let's say when they're eating, they are doing everything they can to be perfectly healthy, and they're doing what's best for their bodies, or what they perceive to be best for their bodies in terms of health. So they're basically following what whatever diet guideline or health guideline that they believe is the most fitting. But then they get very regimented about that. And being that it's in the name of health, then all of a sudden it becomes that you are in recovery and you're just like super healthy. But what's really occurring is that you just transferred your eating disorder behaviors into a new form of an eating disorder. If you are in recovery from an eating disorder and you think that perhaps this could have happened to you, this is what I want you to reflect on to really kind of determine that a little further. Is it possible to, deviate from the idea of whatever you think is best for you in terms of the food, to deviate from whatever that behavior is without feeling guilty or really uncomfortable with it? So if you make sure that you have a green smoothie every single morning with protein in it, and then all of a sudden you run out of protein, and therefore you're just deciding you're not going to have that smoothie, is that something that you could be flexible with and decide that you're going to have something else? Or is there a whole other anxiety that comes up there? It's like, well, what am I supposed to eat? How am I supposed to get my protein in time for tomorrow? And what am I supposed to do for today? I screwed it up. If those things are coming up for you in any way, shape, or form, that was just an example, chances are you are actually in pseudo-recovery. The really dangerous thing about this is that it starts to really impact your life, but it takes a while to realize what's happening. And you might not even see it because this is your new form of control. And the problem is that most likely no one else is seeing it either. Society isn't seeing it, your family isn't seeing it, because this is such a norm in our society that it's almost revered to be able to be so healthy, so strict with what you're doing, and you're not losing weight crazily, like if you are in, anorexia, or, nothing like that is happening, no super big weight changes. So technically you look healthy, technically you feel healthy, all of that. But is it really the best for you if you're being very strict and things cause anxiety for you when things are out of the norm in terms of your eating behaviors and your exercise patterns? I would argue that one of the most important factors in real eating disorder recovery is flexibility. The flexibility to eat what you want, when you want it, to be able to moderate yourself, and just be flexible if something kind of doesn't go the way that you anticipated it going, like for instance the smoothie example. Alright, I'm sure there's something else that you can eat. Maybe it might not be deemed the healthiest according to your new pseudo eating disorder, or true eating disorder, pseudo-recovery. Perhaps it's not according to that, but I'm sure you could find something super delicious and also that's good for your body and nutritious. It's just a matter of the flexibility, and that's what we need to look at when really determining if you are indeed in recovery or if you're in pseudo-recovery. Another reason that I think it's super important to be aware of this is because if you're entering recovery or if you're in recovery, there's so much content to consume on the internet with regards to people who claim they're in recovery, and like they talk about what they eat in a day, or they blog about it or whatever. And it is a lot of times, not all the time, but there's a lot of content out there that actually is a person in pseudo-recovery. And I know that they don't mean any harm, but it's just very important for you as a consumer of that information to be aware of that perhaps that is what's happening, and not to compare yourself to what they're doing, and just if you're wondering whether that's the case or not, and there's people that you like to follow that are, you don't know if perhaps they're in pseudo recovery, talk to your eating disorder therapist about it. Chances are they know of the person that you're speaking of, or at least they can take a look at the content that you're consuming to kind of give you a little bit more enlightening information about whether that looks like that's healthy and that's a positive thing, or whether that might be more along the lines of pseudo recovery, just so that you really can have realistic expectations for what you should expect for yourself, and also have realistic inspiration as well. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below about what your thoughts are on pseudo recovery. Have you ever heard of it? Yes or no? If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please do so by clicking my face over there. And I wish you true recovery on your journey to finding your state of balance. Hope to see you in my next video.